Welcome back to the second hour of World Crisis Radio. So we've given you at least a reasonable rundown on the world situation. Of course, the rebels are reeling under Gaddafi's successful counterattacks. The presence of the Turks now in the NATO command has slowed down the pace of the airstrikes, which were indispensable for this al-Qaeda rabble to make its advance on Sirte and elsewhere. But now we want to change gears and go into domestic politics. And here, of course, we see the other side of it, right, that Obama tramples the Constitution, Obama flaunts the War Powers Act. One interesting thing is we're told now that Obama has signed an executive order putting the CIA on the ground, if not boots on the ground, at least Gucci pumps or Gucci loafers on the ground in Libya. But the story is that he did that 2 to 3 weeks ago. Now, if he did it 2 or 3 weeks ago, it means that he violated the relevant law on covert action, because the president is required to inform the Congress within 72 hours of ordering covert action. And the Democrats on the intelligence committees were asked about this, and they say he never told us. So here's another violation by Obama. But of course, this week the spotlight was stolen by Donald Trump, possible presidential candidate, probably as a reactionary. But again, in the Leibnizian world, evil people do good. So Trump goes on O'Reilly and says he wants to see Obama's birth certificate. He wants to see it. He wonders why he hasn't shown it. Trump came up with one birth certificate, which was only from the hospital. They said that's not good enough. And then he came up with a second one, which was the New York City Board of Health. So if Trump can do it, how about Obama? So let's get an update on the news on this front from our friend Phil Berg in Philadelphia, who is the one who has put this issue on the map like nobody else. Welcome, Phil.
My pleasure to be on. Hopefully, I hope that Donald Trump's listening to your show. If he is, respond to me, because I'm trying to get in touch with him, because he has been a great advocate just for finding out the truth. And as I stated back on August 21st, 2008, practically 3 years ago, when I filed my first lawsuit, prove me wrong. Show me you're constitutionally eligible, and I'll go away. And that's what Trump is coming up with. He's asking, produce the birth certificate. And many of your listeners probably saw or had seen the replay of Whoopi Goldberg going after him. And then the next day on the show, he was on The View talking about it, and it's like they jumped on him. And the next day, Whoopi Goldberg gets up and says, here's his birth certificate, and shows this certification of live birth, which is not a birth certificate. It's like, as you said, Trump produced the first day a indication of birth, but not his birth certificate. But then he brought forth his birth certificate. And that's the issue here. But Donald Trump has really brought this issue up. I'm now getting phone calls from, many radio stations that have had me on in the past. Not like you, where I'm a regular person each week. But I think this is a good sign for us. Right now, Arizona is, I got a call from them the other day. They're working on their bill for the presidential primaries for 2012, as well as the 11 other states. I haven't filed yet. I'm about to file this other lawsuit. We're just delayed because of the illness of one person. But we're moving ahead on this, and right now I'm trying to see if we can contact Donald Trump, because he hasn't stopped. I don't think he's going to stop, and we'd like to just give him the additional information. He has mentioned about the different hospitals, so he has good material. His associates have filled him in well. It sounds like material from my website, but I'm not sure exactly where he's getting it. But he's right on point. But the next point he has to really come up with is the effect of Indonesia. I really think that Indonesia is more significant, because at that point in his book, and I state, first of all, in one of his books, he states he found his birth certificate, to show it to us already. And in one of his books, he mentions the fact that his parents divorced, his mother remarried, and his stepfather returned to Indonesia before he did. When he did, he immediately went to school, and we have the school record. And that's why this is so significant on our website, ObamaCrimes.com, ObamaCrimes.com, ObamaCrimes.com. We have his school record there, and no one's disputing it. His name over there is Barry Sotoro. His nationality is Indonesia, and his religion is Islam. And he has never responded on that issue, but if he hasn't legally changed, well, first off, when he came back to the United States at age 10, did he go through immigration? He probably did. He had to do something. We believe he came back on his Indonesia passport. If he hasn't legally changed his name is Barry Soturo. Yes, you can use a fictitious name, but not for fraudulent purposes. And the fraudulent purpose here is what he has used to run for president and used to sign things. As you just stated, with what's going on now with Libya, he's violating the rules, but that's Obama. He doesn't care. I mean, how will he care? Because he has violated the Constitution by the fact that he is not natural born. He can't be president. We believe he's not only not natural born, he's not naturalized. Therefore, his term as a U.S. Senator from Illinois was fraud. And he doesn't care about rules, and he doesn't care about the law, and he doesn't care about the Constitution. So you shouldn't be surprised, because Obamacare is blatantly unconstitutional as far as I'm concerned. It'll be up to the Supreme Court. And now with Libya, he signed that agreement. He mentioned that he conferred with Congress, which he did not do. And he said there would be no boots on the ground, but CIA, that's different. I mean, every exception you have here for Obama. And there's more people being killed in other parts of the world. Why are we there, and what's it going to cost us in the end run? Obama was the anti-war person, and here now he's into 3 wars. So
it's actually 4, Phil. It's Pakistan is his war too, declared in West Point in December 2009. So make it 4.
Okay, 4 wars. I mean, and he doesn't care. But American people, wake up now before it's too late, because he doesn't care. He's trying to ruin this country with the oil crisis. When the oil, remember, he shut down all these deep drilling wells. He says we're going to be changed because of cars and take away the dependence on foreign oil. We should be drilling here in this country. Webster, I feel funny every time I'm talking because I go into issues, and the issues I shouldn't go into, because I really believe he's a usurper, he's a phony, he's a fraud, he's an imposter. This is the biggest hoax against the United States of America, and when it's found out, all the things that he has enacted, including his 2 appointments to the U.S. Supreme Court, are void as far as I'm concerned. They're all voidable now because he has no power to do this. I don't think Obama's in a situation where he can be impeached, because you can only impeach someone who's there legitimately and valid, and that's not Obama. So we really have to look at what we're doing here, and it's time for America to get together and take the hint from Trump right now and spread the word around. And look at my website, Obama Crimes. Like, shortly we're going to be filing that other lawsuit on the basis of false claims, because we're going to add into our lawsuit, and once we file it, we can't talk about it, but we're going to add into our lawsuit the conflict of interest, which is obviously there, and also the need for a special prosecutor. Conflict of interest is there because under false claims, once the case is filed, it's reviewed by the Department of Justice and the Attorney General's office, both of which are headed by Attorney General Eric Holder. And there's no one more close to the president, and therefore a big conflict of interest, because Eric Holder was a senior member of Obama's campaign staff. Number 2, he was one of 3 individuals selected to select the vice president who selected Joe Biden. And number 3, he was nominated and confirmed as the Attorney General of the United States, which is the highest law enforcement officer of this country, who reports to the president. So if that's not a conflict of interest, I have no idea what would be. But people out there, when you're done the show, you have to spread this word. If only 10 people spread the word to 10 other people, we're in the millions. And I'm sure Webster has hundreds of listeners out there. When the show is over, please go to ObamaCrimes.com. Send it to everyone you know, and ask them to send it to everyone in their address book. At least if everyone looked at this and gave a fair shake to it, Obama, we can pressure him to be out of office. It's outrageous what he's doing. When the whole Libya thing started, he was in Brazil, and he kept his Brazil trip going because he was there with his wife and children. Now, he can do what he wants to do, and also he can practice his religion. His religion is Muslim. I don't care what he does inside the White House or on his time. But what he's doing here is hurting this country, and it's time that we stood up. So go to ObamaCrimes.com, and hopefully next week or 2 I'll have my suit filed. We can talk about that.
Okay, Phil. We'll see you soon. Back in a minute on World Crisis Radio.